Hello there, you amazing people. Welcome to Rise Up to Positivity. I am Heather, your positive mindset coach, here to help you quiet that negative self-talk, build an unshakable positive mindset while creating a more confident and fulfilling life without all that stress and self-doubt holding you back. A few videos back, I broke down the 5 subtle signs you're self-sabotaging, and I'm willing to bet at least one of those 5 hit closer to home than you expected. Here's the thing though, awareness is only step 1. Knowing you are self-sabotaging doesn't automatically stop you from doing it. I spent years aware of my patterns and I still kept repeating them. Today, we are going to get practical. I'm giving you specific, actionable techniques to rewire each of those self-sabotaging patterns. These aren't theory. These are tools I use with my coaching clients, and I also use them myself because they work. Let's get into it. First up, preemptive quitting. Remember, that's when you're planning your exit strategy before you even start. Here's the rewire. The commitment contract. Here's how it works. Before you start any meaningful goal, you write down 3 things. First, what you're committing to. Be specific. Not, I'm going to get healthier. That's too vague. Instead, say, I'm going to work out 3 times a week for the next 30 days, regardless of the results. Second, why are you committing to it? Not the surface level why, the deep why. Because I want to prove to myself that I can follow through. Because I am tired of feeling tired. Write the emotional truth. Third, this is key. What you're not allowed to do. I'm not allowed to quit for 30 days. I am not allowed to research alternative plans. I am not allowed to mentally check out. You make this contract with yourself. You sign it. You put it somewhere where you will see it every day, multiple times. Why this works? Preemptive quitting thrives on ambiguity. The moment you feel uncomfortable, your brain just starts looking for those escape routes. The contract removes that option. It creates a boundary that your brain cannot negotiate around. I do this with every project now. When I started this channel, I made a contract I could not quit for 6 months, no matter how the videos performed. I'm still in that contract and I'm still growing my channel. Next, the perfectionism trap. Waiting until conditions are right until you feel ready. Rewire, the 70% rule. So this concept comes from the Navy SEALs. They train that if you have 70% of what you need to complete a mission, you go. You don't wait for 100%. You don't wait for perfect intelligence, perfect conditions, perfect equipment. 70% is enough. So here's what I want you to practice. Whatever you're waiting to start, ask yourself, do I have 70% of what I need? Do you have 70% of the knowledge? Start. You'll learn the rest by doing. Do you have 70% of resources? Then start. You will figure out the rest as you go. Do you feel 70% ready? Start. That last 30% of readiness only comes from experience, not preparation. And I want you to write this down somewhere. The 70% is the new 100%. Here's the exercise. Pick one thing you've been waiting to start until you're ready. Give yourself an honest estimate. Do you have 70%? If yes, you're starting this week. Not next Monday, this week. And here is the advanced move. When you catch yourself being too perfect, procrastinating, say out loud, I'm waiting for perfect because I'm scared. Naming the fear takes away from its power. Third, the manufactured drama. Creating problems in other areas when things start going well. The Rewire, the Drama Audit. This one requires honesty. Real, uncomfortable honesty. Here's the practice that I want you to do. Once a week, do a drama audit. Ask yourself, what am I stressed about right now? Then for each thing, ask, is this a real problem or am I manufacturing this? Real problems are your car actually broke down, you got sick, there was emergency. But manufacturing drama, you're suddenly obsessed with a minor conflict. You're creating urgency around things that aren't urgent. You're finding reasons to be upset when things are going well. The key is timing. If you notice that drama always seems to spike right when you're making progress on your goal, that's not a coincidence. That is your nervous system looking for distraction. Here's the rewire action. When you identify manufactured drama, You don't engage with it. You literally say to yourself, this is manufactured drama. I am not giving this my energy right now. Then, and this is the most important, you redirect that energy back into your goal, the part where you were avoiding. Because that drama, it's energy that wants to go somewhere and you are just misdirecting it. I had a client who realized she always started fights with her partner right before she had to work on her dissertation. Once she saw this pattern, she started to redirect that anxiety energy straight into her writing. Her relationship improved and she finished her degree. 4, discounting the data, minimizing your wins. Here's the rewire, the compliment log. This sounds simple and kind of a little weird, but it's powerful. You keep a running document, notes, an apps, journal, whatever, of every compliment you receive. Write down the exact words that person used. And don't just write down the big compliments, the small ones too. Nice presentation. You handled that well. You look good today. Write it all down. Then, I want you to read them back to yourself, out loud, in your own voice. This works because when you discount your compliments in the moment, you're bypassing your brain's ability to receive positive feedback. You're literally training yourself to ignore evidence of your competence. The compliment log forces you to sit with this evidence. You can't argue with your own handwriting. You can't minimize what is literally written down. And here's advanced version. Once a week, pick one compliment from your log and ask yourself, what would I have to believe about myself for this to be true? Then practice believing it for 5 minutes. I know it kind of sounds woo, but try it. When you stop fighting the evidence that you are capable of succeeding, becomes less scary. Because success stops being this foreign thing and starts being you. And now here's the last one. The future self thief. Borrowing from the version of yourself that doesn't exist yet. The Rewire. Future self visualization. This is a specific journaling exercise. It takes about 10 minutes. And I want you to do it before you make any decision where you're tempted to procrastinate or push something off. Close your eyes. Picture yourself 24 hours from now. And I mean really picture it. Where are you? What are you doing? How are you feeling? The more details, the better. Now I want you to ask yourself, What decision can I make right now that the future me will thank me for? Not, what do I feel like doing right now? What will future me be glad I did? Then, and this is the commitment, you make that decision. You do that thing. You don't leave it for your future self. Here's the twist. Also, visualize future you. If you don't do the thing, if you push it off, if you leave a mess, how does that version of you feel? Frustrated? Behind? Overwhelmed? You are not just also borrowing from the future you. You're often dumping the future you. Your future you, just you, tomorrow, tired, dealing with whatever comes up. I do this every night. What can I do for the next 30 minutes that the tomorrow me will be grateful for? Sometimes it's cleaning up the kitchen. Sometimes it's sending that email. And sometimes it's just going to bed on time. The future you deserves better than your leftovers. This is what I want you to understand. These aren't one-time fixes. They are practices. You're literally rewiring the neural pathways that might have been reinforced for years, mainly maybe decades. You gotta have patience. Have patience with yourself and the progress. You're going to catch yourself self-sabotaging, and you'll still do it sometimes. That's normal. That's human. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is noticing faster, recovering quicker, choosing differently more often than you used to. Pick one of these techniques to start with, just one, try it for a week, and see what shifts. Let me know in the comments which technique you're going to try first. And if you haven't watched the first video about the signs of self-sabotage, I'll link it above. Watch the first if this one resonated with you. If you want more of this, practical mindset tools, not just motivation, hit that subscribe button and notification. I post every week. And don't forget to hit that like button. Now go make your future self proud. I'll see you, amazing people, in the next one.